What's up, everybody? Back with another professional picks video. Week 7 in the NFL. We're talking about each game here and who we like, and it's giving an overall game preview for each one. As always, give us some love in the comment section, like the video, even subscribe to the channel so you can keep getting these videos on your feed.
All right, that brings us into our first matchup, Woj. Kicking us off with the Thursday game. We got the 4-2 Jaguars versus the 3-3 Saints. Saints opening up as 1.5 point favorites at home. So odds makers like the Jags by about 1.5 points in this one. Jags coming off a big win against the Colts where the offense finally got going. It felt like seems like Trevor Lawrence and just getting Calvin Ridley re-involved in that offense. It's just taking some time to get going. So finally broke out with like I think 37 points last week.
Yeah,
And
big game.
then and the Saints, little off on that read, but they lost by a touchdown to the Texans, only putting up 13 points. Who do you like in this Thursday night matchup?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I checked these lines yesterday during the the Cowboys game, and it opened at -3 actually for the Saints. Very intriguing here. So
Really?
I always get confused on who's right. Is the initial odds right? The Saints should be -3, or is the betting public right to hammer the Jaguars? Personally, you watch the performance of each team last week, and you're obviously going to bet on the Jaguars based on how good they looked, albeit against the Colts, and then the Saints with the letdown loss against C.J. Stroud and the Texans. But I think I would have to lean towards the Saints here in saying that I think the odds makers had it right originally at -3. Interestingly enough, the Saints are the 12th best team overall in PFF, Jaguars 17th. I would stay away from this game, one, given the low total here, and the fact that the line has already changed so drastically. It's not often you see the public think so differently about a line so quickly, unless there's any information that I'm missing. But I'm surprised to see that it's now -1 Jaguar. So I really think this is a case of a lot of overconfidence in Jaguars based on last week and people, selling low on the Saints. But I think it's time to buy low on the Saints, given how good their defense is, especially.
Yeah, no, I hear you. They're definitely led by that defense. Demario Davis, I think he is on the injury report for this
He's a
week.
beast for them.
Um, I don't know. I feel like I am leaning a little bit with the public buying too much into the Jags. I feel like I was waiting for a week like last week where they finally got going.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's the Jags that we've been talking about seeing all year long. Like you said, they finally showed up.
yeah, so I don't know. I think I kind of like the Jags plus the 1.5 here on the road. I
Yeah,
don't trust the Saints offense hasn't looked great enough for me. Neither is the Jags, but I
no, I'm
still like
with you.
Lawrence and just the weapons they have a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I think if you asked me without showing me the numbers, like what's the line for this game, I would have guessed even on the road that the Jaguars were favored. So the fact that they open up at -3 is really puzzling to me. Or the Saints open up at -3 is really puzzling to me. They're saying outside the odds makers are saying outside any influence at all, outside any money that is being gambled, we think the fairest line for this game is Saints -3, which just
Right.
doesn't make too much sense to me. That's always a game I'm either going to avoid or lean into the chaos and take the Saints. So for me, I couldn't take the Jaguars here.
All right. I hear you, Woj. All right, let's move on. Not as great. Oh, looks like our bubbles up in the top there are a little bit off. But next up, we got the Browns 3-2 versus the Colts 3-3. Browns beat the undefeated 49ers last week with PJ Walker. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
impressive win. Deshaun still day to day at the moment, and then Minshew had his first loss as a starter for the Colts on the season, with Anthony Richardson probably not back for about another month.
Yeah, it seems like
Um,
he's still on.
yeah, so both these teams probably going to rely a little bit more on the ground game, unless anything changes with the Deshaun Watson news. Anything
Mm-hmm.
you like here initially? I feel like the +3 for the Colts at home with potential PJ Walker start seems intriguing to me. I know they did just beat the Niners though. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do think that, especially in a teaser, the Colts here at home, and especially such a low total game, would be a good pick. Even if you're not teasing, I think +3 is solid, given that they're won a home game like you mentioned. Selling a little high on the Browns after the Niners, what I think people are going to be in on them now. But again, it's still a PJ Walker quarterback going against the Colts defense that is actually better than the Browns in the run game, surprisingly enough. We talk about the Browns defense being so good all season long, which it is. That's how they beat the 49ers. Done something that no defense has been able to do, and that's really slowed down Brock Purdy in that offense. But this game with PJ Walker and with double backup quarterbacks, there's going to be a lot of running the football. And the Colts at home with the better run defense and two very solid lines here, lots of running, a lot of clock running. Under close game here is the game script for sure. I think you have to love a home dog here.
I love it. Yeah, yeah, especially low scoring game. I mean, saw it with the Niners, Browns, decided by 2 points. I could see this one being a little bit similar, just a lot of clock running, keep it low. Minshew hopefully can do enough and not be sacked the entire game by Zadarius
Yeah,
Smith and
yeah. This
Miles
pass
Garrett.
rush for the Browns is terrifying, and it's right up there with the Cowboys and the 49ers pass rush.
Yeah, so I'm with you on this one. All right. Next up, got the AFC East matchup, 4-2 Bills versus the now 1-5 Patriots.
Yeah,
Worst start and since I've been alive in the Patriots.
yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
Patriots lost a close one to the Raiders last week. Um, and the Bills beat out the Giants in a closer game than expected. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so not too much to talk about for these two as far as the last week's performances. Mac Jones, though, 30th in QBR, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Do you think Bill Belichick makes a change, or is he going to
I
stick with this guy?
would, I would make the change. I'm surprised, quite honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
Me too.
And you know, it's the time to do it at home against a division opponent that's really solid. Maybe not, especially given how good this Bills defense is, even despite
True.
all the injuries they sustained. I'm intrigued. It's hard to say you can get worse, that's for sure, but you also don't want to put your back up in a losing proposition right away and just diminish the confidence right off the bat. And
Yeah.
maybe do some fan trust. That's tough there. Whatever you throw out a quarterback here, you're setting up for failure against this Bills defense. So it's tough. I mean, even though I don't know, it's tough here. I don't like anything in this game. Just being a divisional game in Foxborough always scares me. But yeah, like you said, we've never seen the Patriots like this in our lifetime. So I'm waiting for the inevitable Bill Belichick right the ship moment, and just when you least expect it, like we've seen him do in the past, even with backup quarterbacks. But it's just this team is just different in nature than anything like we've ever seen. Same time, the Bills, like I talked about, sustaining a lot of injuries, especially on the defense side of the football. They had the same problem that I've been talking about for a little bit now, looking one dimensional, going through Stephon Diggs on offense. Although the Giants did look really good in stopping them on that Sunday night. So I think the under here is probably what you're going to see, no matter who's at quarterback of the Patriots, given that I think it's pretty easy to game plan against these Bills, take away Diggs and you take away a lot of the offense. And that's what the Giants did. Whatever the Giants did well outside of that, too, I'm sure Bill Belichick will take notes on and implement the same exact thing. So the spread here, sometimes sticking away from. I think I do like the under here. I bet you if you tease this one, that'd be great too. But the Patriots under is always scary because like that Cowboys Patriots under that I just squeezed out, the Patriots
Oh yeah.
offense is gonna give the opposing team defense 6 or 12 points a game. So that's a little scary too.
Yeah, you never know when Mac Jones is gonna mix in a safety.
Yeah, dude, that killed a lot. The line was 2.5, and they were down by 2 at that point. That killed a lot of people. It actually helped me with the Raiders, but it killed a lot of Patriots bettors.
Yeah. Jeez. But yeah, no, I do think that you make a good point though. Probably don't rush in a quarterback change going up against the Bills. Their defense has looked solid again now. Um, yeah, I think you lean with the under in this one and
Mm-hmm.
just stay away from the spread until you could get a better read on Bill Belichick.
Yeah, he's going to pull something out real soon. Is it this game? He's going to.
I
I
mean, yeah,
refuse to
like
believe
Mac
anything
Jones looked
differently.
better as a rookie, so I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I
something's
know.
gonna change.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the NFC East matchup, 3-3 Commanders up against the 1-5 Giants. Commanders kind of been teetering, seems like all season, and seems like they're even going to continue to do that as it goes on. While the Giants lost last week, but at least they got Saquon back. Um,
Hmm.
Looking at this one for me, Commanders 19th in run defense. I kind of I kind of like the Giants to bounce a little bit back. I know they only put up what it was at 9 points against the Bills, but the defense looked good, like you just mentioned on the last matchup. I just the numbers don't necessarily support it, but I feel like the Giants with Saquon, um, with Daniel Jones, they sneak out a win here.
Yeah, I'm taking the same thing. So much so that I already bet on it. Last night when I saw the line, I wanted to make sure I get it before any movement. I like the Giants here too. I don't think even I still think Daniel Jones won't play this game based on what I'm reading. That neck is causing him some issues.
Really?
But
Okay.
um, this just like the Commanders we mentioned last week. This is for a different video, but the Commanders we mentioned last week being the great spot for a teaser, teasing through 3-7 on a low total. The Giants here teaser will be part of the lock of the week. Like that is, I think they're going to win the game outright, but teasing that thing is just, I would be really surprised, especially with how good that defense looked last week. If they don't compete in a close game in a one-score game here. Like you said, I think you make great points. Seems like the kind of game to pull out for a win for some reason. Commanders riding high against the win. They were dogs against Atlanta on the road for the second straight week. I think things are lending themselves to the Giants in this game for multiple reasons.
Yeah, another great line to tease to the super low
Super
total.
low total.
There's a
Go
bunch of
through
them this
three,
week.
go through seven. There are a bunch of them this week. It's kind of going to be a gross week to watch football.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, kind of refreshing almost in a way. I know, I
Yeah.
mean, we'll argue either way as fans, but I feel like the refs were giving so much to offense the last few years. It's kind of, I mean, in a weird way, I kind of like the lower scores a little bit. Just I like to see the defense do well
Yeah,
again.
no, it's good to see the defense get some credit when it's due.
Right. All right. Next up, I'm really looking forward to this one. 5-1 Lions. Great start to the season, living up to the hype. And then the 4-2 Ravens, also playing very well. You called it last week. The Lions absolutely handled the Bucks. Also a nice little Jamison Williams touchdown.
Hmm.
Get him involved in the offense.
Yeah.
And then the Ravens, they benefited from the turmoil with the Titans quarterback room, the bad Malik Willis play. They are flying back from London, but I mean, still have the full week to prepare for this one. Uh, I think there should be some fireworks. I know the Ravens have a great defense. The Lions defense has been playing well, but I kind of like the over at 42.5 here. What's your initial thought?
Yeah, I don't really know. This game scares me all over the place. I could see either team covering, I could see either the lines going over under. Something that we didn't see it with the Jags necessarily, but we did with the Bills, coming back from London, they had a much lower output offensively than you would have expected. And again, the Giants did play well, but how much of that was kind of shaking off the rust from London and the time change. I do put stock in that, and I'm afraid that might affect the Ravens a little bit. Their offense is solid, but their defense is just so great, and you saw it even against the Titans, no matter who they're
Hmm.
playing. But what's really surprised me between these two teams overall is the Lions defense and how well they've been playing. They it just
Yeah, they've
the
completely turned it around from last year.
yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but they got Aiden Hutchins playing great. First of all, but just really the defensive unit as a whole is looking great. The seventh best ranked defense overall in PFF, which I think is surprising to just about everyone going into the season. Offense obviously looks terrific, but going up against a great, Ravens defense, who knows what happens there? I think I'd have to take the Lions +3, quite honestly. I can't say that because this Ravens team knows how to compete, and I have not seen the Lions team overcome real hardship in this Dan Campbell tenure yet, facing a team this good and beating him. So I think you have to lean on the Ravens here. But if this is the time for the Lions to step up, like a lot of people say it is, this is the game where they cover +3. This is a real inflection point for this team. Are they ready to compete with the big dogs? We're going to find out. Like you said, that's why this talk about being excited for a low scoring game. This is one that I will certainly be tuned in for.
Yeah, no. I mean, if I had to go spread here, I think I gotta go Ravens.
Yeah,
Just
you're
like I
right.
feel like they take it at home. I mean, I do think this is like kind of that game for the Lions and +3. They've looked like the better team so far, but I don't know. I think the Ravens take it at home just because the defense. I know, but like you said too, the Lions defense looks great. Two solid teams, just more so on the trend of these two.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
I
think
like
I
it.
just think the
These
Ravens
guys,
need a little bit more.
the Ravens are going to drag the Lions down to their style of play. And I don't think the Lions are going to be ready for it. I think I'm with you with the Ravens -3.
Yeah, I
I,
mean Montgomery's banged up, and then Gibbs, they just haven't shown they want to hand it off to him. So if this is
yeah.
like a hard nose ground and pound, I mean
Yeah, this
Lions are
Lions
still
team
gonna
doesn't want to
pass,
play the
but
gritty football games. That's not who
right.
they are. It's not their
Yeah,
identity, at least not on offense.
think it's a clash a little bit, but I mean we'll see.
It's old school versus new school, that's for sure. I love it. And I think we got to we're old school guys.
Yeah, gotta ride with our guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. We got the 3-3 Raiders. Honestly,
It's
kind of
crazy.
yeah, I was gonna say 3-3. I expected worst start for them.
They're getting outscored by 31 points this season, and they're 3-3.
Well, okay. So, I mean, just managing, just pulling out the close ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Then on the other end, you got the Bears, 1-5. A lot of people expected it, but disappointing for others. This will be an interesting game. We might have a Tyson Badgett versus Aiden O'Connell, maybe Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer,
So,
bring it back.
so yeah, this one, I don't know how you even really look at this one. My only one big key takeaway for this is just Max Crosby's gonna absolutely destroy the Bears O
Oh,
line.
God.
Like
Yeah.
I just think that's enough to like swing this game like one way.
Dude, I'm with you. I really like the Raiders here -3. I like how I was just on the Bears +3 last weekend, and I don't think I can bet it because I can't just keep being wrong in these Bears games. But like you said, the Raiders have at least one X factor, and on both sides of the football, if not like two, if you count Jacobs and Devontae Adams, and then obviously you mentioned Max Crosby, where I think that's enough to put them over. And at least their backups experienced, whether if it's Brian Hoyer or highly rated like AOC, it had a solid college career in
Oh
D1
yeah,
football.
exactly.
So whereas the Bears, like I was at the game and I can tell you that Badger, whatever how you pronounce it, did not look great. Like just fundamentally, didn't look. The game's moving a little fast for him, especially. So I like the Raiders here. They have a really solid run game. They have a really solid run defense. So Max Crosby makes a few sacks. Whatever you guys, whoever's playing quarterback for the Bears, even if Fields was back in, is turnover prone. So I think I don't know if I can bet it, like just because I'm tired of being wrong about betting on the Bears, but I really think the Raiders uh will win this game. I see money line Raiders are gonna win this game. I guarantee it. Is it gonna be by 3? That's what I don't know. I know the Raiders are gonna win this game.
That's how I feel too. But those are the games the Bears win.
That's so
The
that's
ones that
true.
make absolutely no
Now we've seen
sense.
too much. They're
Where
top
they
10 run defense, dude.
where they have nothing to win and they do it anyways.
They're top 10 run defense. They have to beat the Bears because the Bears don't want to pass. The Bears can't even run as it is. They can run a little bit, but against the top 10 run defense, they're not going to get much. And that's just what it is. Who do you think
Yeah,
is at the worst
they won't
defense
move the
for these two
ball.
teams? Yeah, the Raiders have
Max
like,
Crosby's gonna have a day. Take him
yeah,
plus
true.
multiple sacks.
Raiders have a much better defense compared to against the Bears. There's no doubt in my mind that the Raiders win this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. Next
Lock.
up, got the NFC South matchup, 3-3 Atlanta Falcons versus the 3-2 Bucks. Falcons now 1-3 in their last four after starting 2-0.
Brutal. Brutal.
And the Bucks still leading the division even after the loss to the Lions. They only put up 6 points. Um, Bucks bottom 10 in run defense. I thought that was fairly interesting um, to look at. I mean, just personally, I think of Tampa Bay as stout run defense for the last 5 years.
Hmm.
So when I was looking into PFF and I saw their bottom 10, don't necessarily love that for them in this matchup, but at the same time, the Falcons haven't looked great the last 4 weeks. What are you what are you leaning in this one, Woj?
Yeah, no, it's interesting because the Falcons really haven't played into the narrative that we saw in the first 2 weeks of, dominant run game, taking advantage of weaker run defenses. That being said, they still, took care of business when they did play that kind of prototype against the Texans. And I think this Bucs team is a little similar to the Texans, the fact that they got a little better defense. I think that because like the solid run game and because they're solid run defense, I do think the Falcons could win this game. Although it hurts me to say, I think what I really like is the under this one. Both the Falcons and the Buccaneers have not cracked 100 points yet. The Falcons have had one more game to do so, and they still haven't cracked 100 points. And they both have pretty staunch defenses that haven't let up too much. So I think I like the under here. It's kind of the same thing with when it is the Bucs are playing the Saints. It's such a low total that we had to take the under. I think it's the same kind of way here. I think
Yeah,
the Falcons win in a 17-13 type game. Really low amount of points, but I think they pull it out here.
yeah, no, I like it. I think Falcons win it outright. I think they run the ball a lot, get back to those first 2 weeks where they were running a lot. I mean, people were complaining, but they won both those games. They do need to get ahead early, but I don't, this Tampa Bay offense it's not going to blow anyone away.
No,
Falcons
stop
should
Mike
be able to run
Evans,
the ball.
limit him a little bit, and that'll do the trick. Especially with how good their run defense is for the Falcons, fourth best in the league. Um, take
Right,
care of the
I like
Dolphins
them
and
here.
probably take care of the Bucs.
Yeah, I'll take them on the road. All right, next up, got the 3-2 Steelers versus the 3-3 Rams now. Steelers coming off a bye, whereas Rams picked up the win against the Cardinals. Um, Feels like the Rams are getting going a little bit. They do have Kyron Williams on the injury list this week though,
Yeah, he
so
ain't playing this one.
I'll probably have Zach Evans in the backfield for the Rams this week. Get to see the rookie there. What's your initial lean in this one? I actually like this one a lot, especially not for like a top matchup.
Yeah, I do
I think this one's
too.
pretty intriguing.
I'm intrigued too. I like to see what the Steelers come out off a bye week in this game with. Given how much credence we give to the head coach there, and Mike Tomlin and his reputation, what he's done in Pittsburgh. I like the +3 here because it's off a bye week, because they have a better defense, because the Rams defense hasn't looked that great, especially tackling's been an issue for them. So get a guy like Najee Harris who hasn't been doing that well, but Jalen Warren out in space, then you start to create some trouble for them. And their coverage game for the Rams hasn't been that great this year. Steelers going to hope to get Deontay Johnson back this game off a bye week. Guys getting healthy. I think I like the Steelers here. Still competing in a tough division. I think the Rams, whose defense has been letting them down in games they've lost, might see something in similar fashion. It being in LA definitely helps them. If this was in Pittsburgh, it'd be a slam dunk Steelers win. But I still think +3 is a good spot here. I don't think it's a popular take in this game, but I think given what I've seen with Mike Tomlin, I like that's the spot there. I'm gonna see what his record is off a bye. You go ahead with what you're gonna say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was personally leaning towards the Rams, and I think you're right. I do think the public is probably on the Rams in this one. I think the offense has looked great. He got cut back the second he stepped back onto the field. He's been outstanding. Um, Tons of catches, tons of yards. Puka Nacua is still playing very well, and I think they are going to be a little bit outmatched against that Steelers pass rush. If Stafford could stay upright and he's not getting sacked 4+ times in this one, I think the Rams could pull it out. But
Check this
um,
out, Sleep.
I know that it's going to be some insane record, and the minute
Mike
you started
Tomlin,
talking about all your points, it scared me heavily on
Mike
the Rams.
Tomlin, 12-4 all time after a bye, has not lost a bye week game since 2016. So +3 is looking better and better, especially
I
Deontay
like it.
Johnson
I
comes
like
back.
it. That's enough to scare me out of changing my survivor pick now. I
There
was
we
on the
go.
rant.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I think plus three and a teaser. This one seems nice. There's better teaser opportunities in this week, but given that stat, especially at Steelers plus 9 seems pretty solid too. I don't know. I just get the feeling that the Steelers are going to compete this game just fresh. Just like they have enough weapons and scary guys that when they're fresh, that's enough to scare some people under a well head coach team and just a well head coach team in general.
Yeah, yeah, that defense should be able to keep them in games no matter what. All right, moving on. We got the NFC West matchup. The 1-5 Cardinals haven't looked great as of late. I thought they were at least looking pretty competitive to start the season. Definitely playing to what everyone expected though. And then the Seahawks now 3-2. I was really upset with that loss. I did think they were going to beat the Bengals this last week.
Yeah, what was
Um,
up with that? I'm happy for the Bengals, but wanted to
so
be right.
both these teams coming off of losses. PFF though has Cardinals bottom 5 team in the league. They still have the Seahawks though at number 7
All
overall
right,
at 3-2,
higher
which
than the Bengals.
yeah. So I mean,
A lot higher than
they
the Bengals.
they looked bad last week, but what's your initial reaction for this one?
Yeah, I think that's somewhat of a function of like what we were talking about. The Bills are or the Bengals are trending in the right direction and they're playing above their PFF ranking. And I think the number 7 ranking for the Seahawks kind of reflects that, especially given the Bengals' desperation. But
Hmm.
I'm with you. I thought after the first few weeks, maybe it's the Cardinals team that's going to compete, but I think they're kind of out of gas and out of that
Yeah, the magic's
initial,
out.
yeah, initial I don't know, jolt that you get from the start of the season. Seems like they're kind of really flattening and plateauing here. Whereas the Seahawks, I do think they're a solid team. Even at 3-2, they're due for a win at home after a loss, playing a much worse team than themselves. Competing for this division still surprisingly now that they are one game back from or maybe 1.5 game backs coming off a bye week or 3-2. Yeah, they've had a bye week already. Um,
Yeah,
they're,
yeah, that.
they're 1.5 game backs in the 49ers, and they still play them twice. So they actually have a shot at this division. I love this for a teaser for the Seahawks. And honestly, I think they're going to cover this 7.5 anyways. It's always, I really hate taking spreads in divisional games, but this seems like one where the Seahawks dominate with the run game, especially on both sides of the football. And, James Conner out, only taking more win out of the Cardinals' sales. I think the Seahawks role here as this letdown game and loss against the Bengals. We really both thought they had that one. This is one they won't let slip from their fingers.
I'm with you. I think they bounced back here and even covered the 7.5. I think they put up some points against that Cardinal secondary.
Yeah, agreed.
Moving on, we got the 2-3 Packers coming off of a bye, going
Yeah,
up against the 1-5 Broncos. They have the Broncos still here as home underdogs. They do also have a little bit longer of a break though after playing on last Thursday Night Football,
yeah, mini bye
losing
week.
against the Chiefs. So not a crazy full advantage on the bye for the Packers, but nonetheless, they're rolling in as the the favorites on the road. Um, Jordan Love probably had a little bit of extra time. He's been battling with some ankle injuries. I think that can only help. Um, is there anything you like particularly in this one?
No, not really. What I'm surprised, I want to like the under here. I'm surprised it's so high. I don't. Neither of these offenses look that great. The Broncos defense finally started to show out. Part of that was because they were playing the Bengals, the Chiefs, divisional opponents. They always seem to play them tougher than their talent allows them to. But I would guess the under here, if anything, even off both teams off long weeks. These teams, both their strengths should be the defense. The Packers certainly is. The Broncos leaned on it much more heavily than they had any game this season prior to the Chiefs game. And so, no, I couldn't tell you like anything in this game. I guess if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Packers. I like we like Jordan Love. He hasn't looked that great. I like what they got. You're probably gonna get Aaron Jones back this game, Christian Watson, a lot of the weapons on that Packers offense back, and I think this probably a game they win as they look to buck the trend that Jordan Love's been going with them.
Yeah, yeah. I you make a good point though. I feel like eventually that Packers offense has to come together. Feels like they haven't had all the guys healthy yet. Maybe they.
Got a great head
It,
coach too. We talk about head coaching a lot. It matters.
what do you think of Sean Payton? Is he is he not adjusting with the time? Is he just stuck with a
I
bad
was wondering the
roster?
same thing. Still, I think it's still too soon to decide. But I was wondering the same thing. Like he came in talking a big game.
I know
Hasn't
that
done
was the
anything
thing for me
differently.
is just how much he was bad mouthing Hackett. I
Yeah,
expected him to do a lot better job to back that up.
the offense has looked better than it has last year. Hard not to. But the defense is nowhere to be found. So
Right.
is he just
Just
an offensive
completely
guy? And
flipped the script.
yeah, he just flipped the script, but he's still not winning games regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's had the benefit of having some great defensive coordinators in his time. Maybe not great, good defensive coordinators during his time in New Orleans, and I'm surprised with how well I've been impressed with Dennis Allen, head coach thus far. So maybe that's what's propping him up, but he has not, to your point, made any adjustments or many, and certainly not enough to win games with this team.
Right. Yeah. I mean, verdict is not out yet, but not not looking too great there for Sean Payton.
Yeah.
All right, got the AFC West matchup, 2-3 Chargers after the loss against Dallas, and then the Chiefs, who are now 5-1. They've rolled since the week one loss to the
Mm-hmm.
Lions. Initially, to me, this felt like a game that the Chargers would steal, like even just steal outright in my mind.
Yeah.
Chargers are better than a 2-3, and Chiefs eventually just are due to lay an egg because they're just not playing that great. I mean, they're 5-1. The defense has been outstanding. It's really just been
Defense is
carrying them.
outstanding.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of getting to my point though. I started looking at the stats. This it's just not a great matchup for the Chargers. Chiefs, the number or I don't know, they have a top 10 secondary right now, and then on the flip
Mm-hmm.
side, you got the Chargers, who are the fourth worst in pass coverage. I think I think just the pass coverage on both ends is gonna be the complete difference in this one. Mahomes will have guys open, can be able to move the ball, and just Herbert's gonna have to really struggle and force passes in this one. Probably expect an interception or two.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking backdoor cover for the Chargers this game for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of know why. Like my initial thought is the Chiefs destroy the Chargers because I don't even think they're. I think 2-3 is almost flattering for them with how what I think of this Chargers team. Um, after watching the Monday night game, I'm downgrading the Cowboys offense. So I don't think their defense looked incredible, holding Cowboys to what they did to 17. It was still a good performance. And they did honestly on offense 14, whatever they had against the Cowboys defense, I don't think is terrible. Herbert was under pressure all night and didn't look that bad, I guess. And he did have an interception late. But I'm thinking Chiefs can kind of control this game, like you said, pass the ball at will. A lot of Travis Kelce. I think you're going to see some Rashee Rice here this game, a good amount, as the Chargers probably try to take away and pay too much attention to Travis Kelce. So, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs offense is going to be too much for them. This is the kind of game that the Chargers would typically come and maybe sneak one out and keep it close when they shouldn't. So I think that's still going to happen in some capacity with a backdoor game for these guys. But I think the Chiefs will win comfortably.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Chiefs blow them out.
That's what I want to say
I
too.
think it's just gonna be lopsided. Chiefs
But
win by like
good, but
20.
good predictors. Even the teams that I hate the most, like the Chargers, I gotta try to think objectively with them. I gotta, I
I
know I hate
weirdly
them.
like the Chargers. I don't know why, but they hurt me, and I feel like I'm finally starting to realize they're not that good.
They're poop. They're poop.
All
But
right.
this is what divisional game changes things, and they play these guys tough. I think it was last September. Didn't they go into Kansas City on the Thursday night and get like the pick six and win the game?
I remember something like that. I think that's when
Something crazy happened. I
I was on
was not
vacation. I think I was in
home for that
Vegas.
game. Was not able to watch that game. But I'm gonna look it up and come back to it in a later game. But
Yeah, yeah. All right. I like the Chiefs to win
yeah,
comfortably. So does Woj.
comfortable. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Best matchup
definitely.
of the week. 5-1 Dolphins versus the 5-1 Eagles. Sunday night game. Dolphins just beat the Panthers after a shaky start. And then the Eagles had their first loss of the year to the Jets, called by Woj.
Woo!
PFF. as Miami at number one. I was a little surprised, but I mean the offense has been insane. And then the Eagles are at number 6 in PFF.
Yeah,
Um, what's your initial lean, Woj? I want to hear what you like in this one.
this one's a tough one for me. But before I even do anything, I've been looking at these Chargers Chiefs games for the last 3 years, and the Chargers haven't lost more than 7. They don't win many games, but they don't lose by more than one score in any time they play them in recently. No matter how bad the Chargers look,
Okay,
they compete against
they
the
just
Chiefs.
played the Chiefs. Yeah,
They
yeah,
Chiefs
they
well.
do. I've noticed that one.
Um, the fact this Eagles team is really struggling because Jalen Hurts is struggling passing in the passing offense. That's probably not too big of a surprise to most people. I don't know if you saw this. They just picked up Julio Jones for a 1 year deal, which is very interesting. But
Wow.
the loss of offensive coordinator, I think it's Shane Steichen, right? Was the former OC?
Yeah, yeah, he's with Colts now, right?
Yeah, it's proven significant for what it's done for Jalen Hurts' passing attack. It's easy to keep running the ball. You have such a great offensive line. Still give them credit for credit's due. They do a good job of that. But Hurts is taking a step back this year towards the passing game, and that's what's affecting this Eagles team the most. And that's why I haven't been impressed with them that much. That being said, Dolphins, like you said, really high up in PFF grade. It's they have not played a team like this except maybe the Bills, and when they did play the Bills, they lost. So I gotta think, the last time the Dolphins faced an inflection point, like I talked about, against an actual contender, they crumbled, and the Eagles are for sure a contender, despite how Jalen Hurts looked recently. And I gotta think the Eagles pull it out here. I think I would take the under in this game, which is crazy to take under in a Dolphins game, but I don't know. Something in me is saying that again, the Eagles passing game isn't
That's
that
crazy.
good, but I
Yeah.
think that their defense can suppress the Dolphins enough. 27-24, yeah, that'd be 51. 27-24 game, Eagles. Woo.
I feel like I'm not surprised. I feel like I'm also initially like the Eagles. I think overall football team, they're the better team. I just I'm looking at the numbers. Philly's defense, great. If they do have a semi weakness, they don't stop the pass as well as they do against
Mm-hmm.
the run.
Yeah,
Miami averaging more than 50 passing yards than any other team per
that's
game
crazy.
in the NFL. I think they move the ball pretty well on offense and just put up enough points to win this one. I think their offense has looked unlike anything I've seen. McDaniel's just been great with the schemes, getting everybody involved. I think they score enough points to actually win this one on the road. I don't know. I think I'm a Miami Dolphins believer now. I mean, not that I'm a fan, but I think they're legit. I mean, they
Yeah,
are 5-1, so
they
it's
seem
it's not
pretty
crazy
legit.
saying that, but
They seem pretty legit. I think
I
they're
think
gonna
like
lose this
Super
one. I
Bowl.
think they're gonna lose this one. They're 2-5-1 teams. That's
All
gonna
right,
be a good one. I have to side with the Eagles.
all right. Well, we'll go head to head on that one, Wood.
Yeah,
We
I'll
could
see.
we
We'll
could we could
revisit
bet that
next
one on
week.
the side. All
Mm-hmm.
right, wrapping us up. Monday night game, 5-1 49ers coming off the loss to the Browns, and then the 2-4 Vikings picking up the win against the Bears, giving a little bit life back into this team. I'm gonna go really quick. PFF says the Vikings are actually a top 10 team, even at 2-4. Defense, at number 15, playing better than everyone expected. Could be like classic Kirk primetime stinker, but McCaffrey and Debo's are both unclear for this one. I think the Vikings pull it out +7, maybe even win outright.
Oh wow, we're on the exact opposite spectrum. I think you could put us two out there for Debo, McCaffrey, and the Niners roll this game. It'll be interesting to see. I again got a full helping of the Vikings against the Bears game, and they couldn't do much without Justin Jefferson against a putrid Bears defense. What are they going to do against the Niners defense? Absolutely nothing. That's what Slee was. Niners are gonna Niners are gonna roll, dude. They're coming off a loss. I don't care that they're on the road. I think the Niners destroyed the Vikings. Honestly,
Brock Purdy
I like
lost
so
his mojo.
my money my big money bet of the week Niners teaser with the Giants. That's what I already bet, and I'm now I'm kind of scared to like the Vikings, but I'd be surprised if the Niners lose this game, and I got it at -6.5 too before the line moved.
Oh, there you go. I don't know. PFF loving the Vikings.
I know it's
The
weird.
defense does actually look better than expected.